Hello and welcome to the Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. Here we are with you on the 30th of September 2022, last day of the month. So I've been really pushing on very heavily, as you might can see, this week on the old Sky Raider. And I have to say, it is coming out absolutely gorgeous. Again, done different things to this particular kit that normally I haven't do in some processes I haven't done in probably 5 or 6 years, like pre-shading and post-shading. As you might know, I sort of moved away from it. I prefer to use oils, a bit more control, and obviously if it goes wrong, you can just wipe it off and start again. But this particular one, I thought, do you know what? We're going to really weather the Sky Raider down. So I thought we could go in with some really proper heavy weathering with this particular one. So I thought, right, well, we're going to go with pre-shading on the white side because there's not a lot of point doing it at the top because of the camo, but we've done post-shading on the top as well to really make this thing pop. And then again, we're going to get the decals on it hopefully later today, and then we can go through the motions, obviously sealing them down and going through with washes. So obviously it's going to have a clay wash to start with, and then we're going to come in with chipping and scratching and all sorts onto it, and then obviously into oils, and then we'll go with neat oils and obviously thinned oils, and we'll use filters on it. And yeah, so you name it, this thing is literally going to have it thrown at it. So a little bit behind on this one. As you know, I tend to get one of these done a month, and this one is sort of overrun because of the Lancaster overrun before, so I'm playing a bit of a catch up, but we've really pushed on. It's all built, as you can see, even like the gears don't, just all needs weathering and all the bits and pieces. The weaponry just needs the final painting onto those, but everything else is absolutely done on this. So hopefully we'll be in a position really next week, get the weathering done, and we can move forward onto it. But again, I have to say, it's been a lovely build. The build itself went together really, really well with this one. The painting is all freehand on this as well, which again, I've been showing people how to use masks, i.e., you know, solid sort of stencil masks, paper masks, and then obviously we've been doing some soft masking by using tack worms, things like that over the last few builds. So this particular one is like proper old school, if you imagine, because I used to do literally this, would then have obviously chipping and a wash and probably be about it, because everything was done with an airbrush. And again, doing things freehand, purely because it's quicker to do it freehand than it is actually to mask it all up and things like that. But again, I like to show different techniques, and this is a classic example. So really, we're going back about 5 or 6 years of how I used to paint and weather to what I tend to do now. But again, this thing's going to have everything at it. So although the build construction is pretty straightforward with it, it's really good. The airbrushing, which is obviously what you'll get on Monday, to get you to this stage, and then obviously the following weeks as we go through with this one, it's going to be all about the weathering and chipping and various things to it. So hopefully everyone's going to get a little bit of something out of this. And like we say with them all, I tend to do something different with every single build. So in some ways it's quite nice because this is old school, going back to how it used to be back in the day. But thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a full day yesterday just doing nothing but the camo work, and again, because it's all freehand, it flows really well. So literally as soon as this has dried the tan, we went back in, and then we go in with the sort of, you know, the weathering of the tan, and then we go back in and we do the light green, and then obviously the dark green. So we had the entire thing done in a day, which was absolutely lovely to work on. But thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a beast. It's a chunky monkey, this thing, and as I say, it's going to be really nice. And I have done it sort of modular still. I know we were talking about obviously putting this thing wings out and all the rest of it, but they do sort of fit on. They will sort of click in here and everything else, so we can do wings down. I'm going to make a few little changes to it. There's the slot. Can't see the slot. I've got the glasses, but as you see, we can get the wings on, and say we can do one folded up if we wanted to. The flaps are very modular as well. They all fit in. The nose section hopefully will, if we line all this up, pokes in very nicely, something like that, in there. So there we go. All goes in really well. So again, a good solid kit to this one. Anyway, more about that a little bit later on. First of all, if we take you over to the start of the week. So on Monday, we had the Zakamores 1/48 scale F4 EJ Phantom. These are the Makai ones, which are in the retirement schemes, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, we've looked at this kit sort of before because we did the early F4E in the sort of Southeast Asia camo as well. But I've wanted this one because it is absolutely stunning. So as you can see, some gorgeous box art, as you might imagine. Instructions, if you haven't worked with sort of Japanese kits before, Zakamore, they do look a little bit intimidating. But what you have to notice is obviously down on these sides is where you're building. This one in here is more sort of reference for colour call-outs and for alignment and things like that. So it's not too daunting when you see it. But as you can probably see, the level of detail on this is absolutely gorgeous right the way through. Fully detailed engines with this kit. Those gorgeous J79. So if you wanted to, you could have them externally as well, and just having them on a mount system. Full length intakes, gorgeous wheel wells, all the things you might imagine right the way through on this particular one. All posable, obviously flaps and ailerons and things like that. So that's very nice indeed. As you can see, you've got a couple of options there with slats in and out for the actual wings and things. So again, some nice options down in here on this particular one right the way through. Fully detailed. And to be honest, we said before, with the price of kits at the moment, this is the top tier. This is your AAA title for Phantoms at the moment, and they don't disappoint at all because they really are quite something else, as you can see. Lots of detail. The one thing we were joking about, obviously, is the amount of decals on this one. One, it's a Phantom. Secondly, it's Japanese, and it's in a retirement scheme, so they're kept very clean. So consequently, millions of decals. So when you look at the decal sheet, these are all individuals. Yeah, very daunting. But as you said before, when you build a Phantom, you know what you're getting into. You know it's going to have a lot of decals. This one definitely does not disappoint at all. So if you love your Phantoms, you'll love this particular kit. It's a gorgeous surface detail right the way through. The full review is obviously up on the actual the site itself, so you can go up and see that one. It's also on social media if you want to see all these gorgeous photos, nice clean up shots of all the sprues and things like that for your close-ups and everything. Just simply pop along to the Flory Models site, and then obviously if you just go into our review section up here at the top, and then you can see all our latest reviews as we make our way through on there. Tuesday was my vlog, and to be honest, we've been talking about the Fenga Benga, as we've nicknamed it, or the Fengdar airbrush, Elite Airbrush Pro Series. And again, this is one of my things where we go in depth about airbrushes, from the cheap ones, and this one is literally just £25, so it's incredibly cheap, right the way up to, I've got some airbrushes about £400, £500. And again, this is one of those things, you often tell people to, buy, cheap, buy twice. This actually worked. I can't believe this was a blind test. I literally just put for the first time some paint in this airbrush, and we tried to do some little lines. We did some squiggles. I did some mottling, as you can see down in here. Some incredibly fine type without even sort of playing with it too much. It's got a paint mix around about sort of 60% thinners, 40% paint. The air pressure, which I don't know because it's got a Mac valve built into this thing, and it's got a trigger lock. And again, this is one of those ones where if somebody said to me a £25 airbrush can do what I'm doing with it today, I would have been incredibly skeptical. But I wasn't. I was completely taken aback by it. This thing performed flawlessly, do it throughout all our little tests and things like that. And I think for £25, it's one of those sort of no-brainers. As we said before, it's almost disposable. You can almost just think, right, okay, well, I'll just buy a couple of these, and it's cheaper to buy an entire airbrush than it is a nozzle, needle, and a sort of a seal set for one. At £25, but it performed flawlessly in all my little tests I did with it. It went up against some of my more expensive airbrushes and obviously my very expensive airbrushes, and it performed just as well. What this airbrush is going to be like long term, I don't know. But if you're definitely an airbrusher who spends time perhaps with acrylics and things like that, I think it could actually be quite a worthy airbrush to have in your arsenal. And again, especially if you're a modeler, perhaps have a couple of airbrushes for different jobs. So perhaps you have your daily runner, which is probably your better airbrush, something else like that. And then you've got some other bits and pieces, perhaps for doing metallics, perhaps for doing clear coats, things like that, perhaps one for priming. It'd be a great airbrush because it's got great coverage. It does come with 2 needle and nozzle set complete combos as well. So this one comes with a 0.2 already in it, but it also comes with a 0.3. You get an air hose and all the rest of it, as you might imagine. But I just basically bashed, as you can see, a bit of plastic to see how this thing would cover, how it basically performed, doing all the little jobs you would do with it. And it performed really well. So again, £25 for an airbrush. I take it all back. Because for years I've been telling people that you need to spend a certain amount for a good quality airbrush. You'll get on with it a lot more. But yeah, that was really good. So that was the Fenga FE180K. Bought it off of old Amazon Prime, free shipping, and I think mine was £24.75 when I bought it last week. We can all blame Matt for this because he bought one and then told us all how good it was, and now half the Flory membership's been out and bought one now. But you've got everything. You've got a Mac valve. You've obviously got a good trigger system on it. You've got a trigger lock at the back. You've got a needle pullback system on it as well. And you've got, I think that's a 9 or a 10mm colour cup onto it. And it does come with a braided hose. The only thing you don't get is a quick disconnect. So, but apart from that, for 25 quid, honestly, I don't think you can go wrong on there. We chatted about other things as well, obviously on the show, and how I was getting on with different builds and things like that as well. So yeah, but basically it was all about airbrushes and discussing the sort of virtues of expensive airbrushes over cheap airbrushes and things like that. No, it worked really well. So members, if you want to go off and see that one, that was Tuesday's show up with you just there. And then obviously Wednesday, it's the PM show. As you've probably guessed from obviously last night's show and everything else like that, it was a mammoth show. That the editing was over an hour and a half that I edited back down to about 50 minutes because of various things we were going on about and getting totally wrapped up in. But yes, lots of new kits obviously still coming to the PM store, some that I've got with me as well. So we've actually got, this one is the Marauder. Obviously it's Reeboxed recently by Hasegawa, but Hobby 2000 have done some great ones in there as well. So that's a really, really nice kit. It's one of Hasegawa's best, I think, definitely for their medium bombers there in 72nd. So that one is up on the site. Plus the fact we were talking about all the latest kit releases and what's going on. So obviously we're talking various things like the new ones that have been out this week. So if you want to see everything that's going on the PM store, what's new in, what's coming out, what's due in the future, things like that, then pop over to watch that. That's a free to watch show. Anybody can go off and see that one. It's up on social media as well. So if you want to grab yourself one of those, you can have a look. And then last night, obviously it was our live show doing the various things. Nathan's down there with a micro ship, as we called it. Usual fun, laughter, giggles. We were talking obviously about how we're getting on with various bits and pieces, our own personal builds, and then obviously answering all your questions as well. So lots of things going on there. And then don't forget, this is a members only one. You can see this one, obviously members on the actual Flory model site as normal. So we're talking all things down in there. So if you want to get involved with any of those ones, you do have to be a Flory Models member. And just to say now, you can sign up through Patreon. It's £4 a month. And you can sign up at any point, whereas before the Patreon used to do this thing where they were literally in a situation where if you signed up on like the 20th, you'd be recharged on the 1st of every month. But we've changed it now. So you'll just get a recurring billing on the day that you signed up. So if you signed up on the 1st, it'll be on the 1st. If you signed up now on like the 24th, it'll be the payments will be on the 24th of every single month, unless you're doing annually. If you're doing yearly, which works out cheaper, and then obviously that one will come through every year on that same date. So that's a little bit of an update. But if you do want to join Flory Models and all the bits and pieces we get up to, all around the forum, the pre-orders, the discounts, and everything that we do, especially obviously all the live shows, then yeah, Patreon is probably the simplest and easiest way to do it. It's £4 a month. You sign up, you can watch all the latest videos directly on Patreon, and then obviously to get all the thousands of other videos. There's 4,500 videos we've done now. I had a thing through the other day about it. You can catch up with all of those as well. And to put that into perspective, of those 4,800 shows we've done, over half of them are private, which aren't out to the general public. So if you want to see all the video builds, for instance, all the stuff we do, not that's free to watch and things like that, then obviously they're the shows for you, because there's absolutely tons of it out there. And again, it's only £4 a month. So if you want to sign up, Patreon, and then within 24 hours, normally straight away, I'll send you a link and a login and all the rest of it, so you can set up your account on the forum, and then you can get into the forum and see all the various stuff that's in there as well. So if you want to do that, you can do. Last up, we've actually got the today up to date with the Sky Raider. So part 5 is up with you today. So part 5 we cover doing the actual rescribing. So we're doing that in there, obviously re-riveting, so we're putting in all the details that have been lost, and then we do the finish off around the engine work. We also work on a HUD because, well, it's not a HUD, gun sight, because the gun sight is just solid plastic, so we cut that bit off and we replaced it with a little bit of acetate, so we show all about that one. And then obviously we get the front windscreen glued into place, which is, to be honest, a perfect fit, so that's no problem. And then the center seam, if you've been following me, you'll know that I thought that was a really bad center seam. But as you say, last week I decided, you know what, I'm going to tackle it anyway. So scrape cleaned it, and then we sand, and then we sand a bit more, then we polish, and then we give it a rub, and then we hit it with the old lambswool bollet just to finish it off. And yeah, it's absolutely crystal clear. No problem in that at all. So anyway, with that masked up, we can get it onto the actual aircraft. We do a quick black test. So obviously we pre-do obviously all the framework, and at the same time the leftover paint, we just do a quick seam check, which we're all happy with. And then it's a case of getting in there with the primer. Primer coat goes down, so we just use some microfiller primer just on there. And then, as I said before, something I haven't done for donkey's years now, and that's to actually pre-shade. So we go in and pre-shade all the underside, because it's going to have that off-white colour underneath. So we go in and get all of that done. And then obviously we pre-shade the entire of the model right the way through underneath. So going good. And then, as I said, then after that, I carried on then and went literally right the way through the paint stage, as you can see down below. So lots of stuff coming down on there. But if you do want to see the review of obviously the Makai Phantom, and obviously we've got the Fenga airbrush up here, you can do. Two things that I've had just come into me today is obviously the reviews that I will do for next week, and that is the gorgeous Sky Raider, the 72nd scale one. Got some great options in that one as well, and things I'm doing the sort of big brother to it. I thought it would be quite good to get that one in for a review. So that's the Hasegawa kit as a base. So it's really, really nice. It's probably the best kit in 72nd. Obviously 48's probably got the Tamiya, and then 32nd you're looking at Zakamores, or obviously we've got the Trumpeter one down here as well. The other one, and we've been waiting for this for a long time, and it's finally here at last, is the gorgeous Bristol Beaufort, which is the Mark 1, so it's got the torpedo. Obviously, this one it was due out at the beginning of the year, but with obviously troubles in Ukraine, it sort of got pushed back and sorted it out. And luckily for us, it's now available and it is out. So next week, I will get the reviews of those two done and up with you as well. Big news, obviously, for next week is we've obviously got Flory Fest. So not this weekend, next weekend, we've got Flory Fest. So there might be some bonus live stuff we're doing for the run up to that, but basically it will be free to watch for anybody on Saturday. So we'll be live from you all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and even Saturday night as well. So usual things are going to go with that. I think we're going to start at 10 in the morning and we'll run to around about midday, and then we'll be back with you between 2 and 4 in the afternoon on Saturday. Then we'll be live again with you between 7:30 and 9 for our usual giggle. So grab yourself a beer, some snacks, and we'll do a pub quiz and all the bits and pieces that come along with that one. And then we'll be back with you on Sunday as well. Again, 10 till midday and then 2 till 4 on Sunday. This will obviously tie in with us doing loads of different pieces. We're all going to be building, doing demos and yapping and looking at your great work. So if you want to get involved with us as well, we're going to have obviously stuff running on the Flory Models forum, which will be shown. And then obviously if you can send us your photos via Instagram, things like that as well, and we can show those live on air. Going along with that, we've got massive sale going to be going on with the Flory Models range as well. So we're going to have deals for you on that one. And also that will tie in nicely with PM Models. Have got a mega sale going to be on that entire weekend. So it'll be an entire weekend of obviously, hopefully fun, laughter, giggles, serious modelling, and things in between. So hopefully you can join us for that one. But we're going to be live all next weekend. So it's not this weekend, it's next weekend, which I believe is the 8th and 9th. Again, full details will be on social media and the various things, and obviously the Flory Model site all next week leading up to that one as well. But speaking to the guys last night, we might throw in some live stuff in amongst on Friday as well, various things as well. So we'll see how we get on with that one. So if you want to join in with any of those ones, obviously you can do as always. Last up, over to the PM store. We've got various things in here, but nothing's really changing because we'll be honest with you, we're holding out until we've actually got the Flory Fest, which is going to start next Saturday. So all the specials will be updated and everything else like that. So pretty much as we have before, but we have got back in stock as well the Jags, which is that Jag that I did, the lovely little 72nd one. I did a few months back as well. We've got that gorgeous 48 scale SU-27. We've got the UB one there as well, and these are all discounted prices, as you can see. Got a bit of kinetic in there. We've got various kits, as you can see down here. We've got the KT ambulance on sale at the moment for just £31, and all the other bits down in here as well as some of our little damaged box items as well. All right, so we've got all of those. So if you want to pop over to the PM store, we've got all of those. New arrival section, again, things are coming in all this week. So we've got those Marauders, two types with those. We've got the European theatre one, and obviously we've got the Mediterranean theatre, and again we've got Sky Raiders. So we've got the AH one, and then we've got the J as well for the Air Force version down in there. We've got that gorgeous 109. Again, if you're on the fence for that, seriously, just go and buy it because it's cheap. It's 90 quid. When the next batch come in, I'll tell you now, they're going to be a lot more expensive. And that could be some time off as well. Makai Phantoms, we said that down last week as well. There's two flavours of that in the different markings. You've got the yellow or the blue one, so very nice one. And obviously you've got the latest ones from Edard as well, being the Wildcat and the Guns Bunny B25 as well. So some really nice stuff down in there. Just to finish up, we've got the mega sale area. This is 25% off all the kits in here. It gets new stuff added all the time, and obviously when it's sold, it then goes removed from in here. Loads of Zvezda. We've got loads of Trumpeter down in here as well, all on sale, and these are all brand new kits, all still sealed and everything. 25% off the retail price as well. So if you want to grab anything from there, you can just pop in and grab any of those. So some very, very nice stuff down in there as always. And that is about it for this week. So as always, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery. So until Monday, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready. wasted. My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing. Keep your words naked. You got me blushing. And you forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow. In immortality, I can see you and me free. In immortality, I can see you and me free. You left me crying and running through a ghost town, alone and stranded. Why leave me hoping and guessing for the answers? No